that your ultimate is down. That is the only way you can actually react, but that is pretty tough to sometimes figure that out right in the moment. But that's kind of what's required to survive those sorts of plays when you are playing against the hard engaged champions. This is similar to what we saw with Wild Turtle against Aframu. When you do see that Blitzcrank hook coming out, you're at full health. You don't want to flash it. You have to.
I think it's actually worth considering for Stixxay is consider going Resolve secondary instead of Sorcery. Unless he's doing Nullifying Orb, in which case he's got like plus health in that sort of rune page anyway. But considering that he is a double BF Sword champion, the value of raw attack damage that Sorcery normally gives you is just actually diminished compared to a double Zeal AD carry. And increasingly, I think Resolve should be really considered on the more assaultable champions. I mean, there's a Leona and a Kha'Zix against a 525 range champion. Like, you might want to consider Resolve, honestly, in a game like this. But it's not the most important thing in the game, but something I want to have players consider at some point.
But it is interesting to talk about, and it's one of those things where it's easy to see both sides because definitely Resolve will help you survive. But you're thinking, well, we have an advantageous 2v2 anyway, so we should be the ones pushing the pace. We should be the ones dominating this lane. And in that situation, if you are ahead, hey, maybe you don't actually need Resolve. But from this position, maybe second-guessing some of those choices.
Yeah, hindsight's always a thing, of course, and you have to play the high percentage play in champ select. You can't change your rings later on. Either way, that's the case that we're in right now. A 25 minion lead for Sneaky. He's pretty close to the Rage Blade now in that Varus. It's a huge power strike for the champion, obviously. Top lane still pretty close to equal. Banner of Command rushed pretty early by Darshan. And keep in mind, again, Licorice, a magic damage champion, cannot kill those minions easily. As he's MR stacked himself, won't be dying, but the minion push can be nice. Rainover waiting for the gank. He knows he's safe. There's 2 control wards, knowing that there's 0 chance he was spotted, but doesn't find the gank anyway. Cloud9 playing defensively enough, sussing out what could have been.
Yeah. Sometimes without seeing the jungler, you can kind of intuit some of these situations just simply by how the 2v2 lane is playing. You know, if all of a sudden Biofrost is moving a little bit more forward, that kind of thing can give it away quite a bit, especially when they already at a disadvantage. You're kind of wondering what could be going on there. But Licorice, going to be very tanky boy already with the Spirit Visage and the Merc Treads completed. Not much chance of killing him without Stixxay being involved. It's going to be incredibly difficult, but I do like the Baron Rush in this situation. As you said, it is magic damage coming out here.
The attempt is going to force a flash out of Sneaky. Actually lands the Q, but doesn't go for the Stretching Strike second auto to pull him back towards. Wasn't going to be a kill anyway. The flash down.
But that's kind of the play that you're talking about, right? It's almost the same situation, just reversed here, as what Smoothie just did onto Stixxay. Sneaky had to respect flash that, because if you get hit, you're going to then hit confirm the ultimate, you're going to be pulled in, and yes, it is just one thing, but it leads to everything else. And Sneaky early flash, I think, showing a lot of respect there to the crowd control that can come out of CLG, and does survive as a result.
He's been looking for his next play. So far has been kill and assistless, but has actually managed to burn 3 or 4 summoners throughout his attempts in the lanes. Otherwise, just farming at parity with Rainover, which honestly, I would probably side with Zach.
Yep.
If you're going to go and have a 0-kill game, that's pretty good for the one champion. It's going to be a catch on to Smoothie. A lot of hard crowd control. The ult coming back out for Sneaky, but it doesn't really matter. The summon heal comes in.
Licorice is
Buys
here.
a few more seconds. Smoothie going to stay alive, and here comes the rest of the squad. Jensen going to look for the root. Stixxay running back away, and the wall actually separates them, so now Jensen a little bit alone on this side, cutting away from Huhi, but not getting hard crowd control, not having to burn the flash get away either. Looks like they're all going to stay alive. Top laners actually staying in their respective lanes, nothing burned on that side, as they'll keep playing for this one. But look at that, Svenskern finds some of the snipe, comes through, and Sneaky gets himself the kill in the bot lane, 3-0, and that turret's going to fall.
Yeah, Sneaky nails it. They can just back off, give the solo gold here to Sneaky, but don't elect to do so. They do share it up. Either way, it is actually the TP from Jensen coming in. And Smoothie just being so ridiculously tanky with that shockwave, and with his W, they're looking for a gank though on Jensen.
That's going to be a big crowd control here. Now this one they can land any other combo abilities, but no, the hard crowd control is on cooldown, so it's just the walk away. Jensen healthy enough, and now it's just a 3,000 goldie for Cloud9 now, plus this Mountain Drake.
Yeah, it's really nicely done, and the advantage in the bot lane is so big, it's even more impactful because this means Stixxay is further behind. He's the only physical damage source on his team. He is way weaker than the Varus right now. You know, I've heard Sneaky talking about how powerful he thinks Varus is on the Rage Blade completion. He thinks that even on even gold, 80 carries cannot really complete once with the damage output that he's going to put out. And here is the gank once again, straight there onto Smoothie. But the fact that he has Shockwave, the fact that he gets healed up there, he has his Eclipse available, so much flat armor and MR that it's ridiculously hard to burst him down, especially because of the fact that Stixxay, you know, is behind and Biofrost is behind, and then Svenskeren coming down here, walking through the brush. They knew he was on the other side, but he's invisible fully walking through both of those wards, so I guess they just assumed he was still in the previous rush and didn't actually catch that he had been walking forward. But either way, just able to kind of stealth through and get picked off.
Yeah, really nicely done by Sven to set the one up, and the follow-through, of course, there for Sneaky. So 3-0, and it's all about that bot lane right now. Cloud9 playing around it pretty nicely. They've been one of, if not the best bot lane in North America. I think it's up for debate, but they're certainly in consideration. CLG's been kind of weak all around, sadly, for them. They've had reasonably decent early games, but just never able to convert. Now Cloud9 looking to keep this one going. 3,000 gold lead as they've moved their lanes around. The dual lane to the top side with the Drake dead. Herald available for the next 3.5 minutes.
And the early game point is kind of interesting because, you know, in the past when we were looking back at their start in summer last year, for CLG, their gold graph started off very slow. They were often behind, but if they got to late game, they were such a strong team at playing the map that they were able to take over. And C9 going to be looking for a dive.
Flash E, and then the flash away by who he doesn't want to get rooted up for this one, but it means a little bit of alone time with the turret, so they will walk away. You saw Jensen hoping to get in Rune Prison range, couldn't quite find it.
Yeah, not able to find it, and CLG is roaming to mid lane, but yeah, compared to the last year, where they were this really strong macro team, where they were this team that was so good at playing the map in the late game, has been the opposite. Despite the fact that they have been able to get some gold leads and have early advantages, traditionally speaking, this split, they aren't able to hold on to them. They are falling further and further behind as the game goes on. So definitely does not bode well when you're already behind at the start in this game against Cloud9.
Difficulties for CLG on this one as unless they can reinvent how to play their mid to late game with only a week's notice, it's going to be rough times ahead as they might just fall to 3-10. Cloud9 can keep going up in the standings. Only one win behind the first place team. Here's round number 2 against Huhi. Again, the damage, and he's got no sodas this time around, so the damage is just there. He is gone. He's flatlined 4-0. Now the scoreline, more damage towards Rainover. Going to try to survive this turret a little bit longer as some of the team roams down, but it means alone time for C9's duo in the top side of the map. Top lane outer will actually fall to this Varus, as it was the dual lane of CLG roaming to help mid, but it means that their own lane has been sacrificed.
Yeah, and there was kind of the anti-timing there for Rainover. He was actually charging up his Elastic Slingshot and cancels it right as Svenskeren is opening onto his mid laner. So no way to actually get in there and gap close and peel for him. They called off the gank a split second before. And that meant it was no chance for Huhi to get out. Jensen is down here now. Roshan has been fighting pretty aggressively, but it's 3 men strong.
Yeah, he's going to run away towards his jungle. He could go towards the turret, but he's not doing it just yet. Biofrost around the wings, half HP on Darshan, and nearly forces Sven away, who does jump out and knock up on a Licorice as the team can re-engage. You got Zac around the walls. This actually could be a kill on a Maokai. Ulti burn for this one, and plenty of damage output as here comes Huhi as well, and he's got Flash. He's going to burn that now, gets over the wall, puts down the cats, and out goes Licorice.
Without the Xayah there, there's just no damage really being dealt to Licorice. It's so hard to actually take him down, and meanwhile in the mid lane, Sneaky and Smoothie just walking around the map, picking up turret after turret after turret. They are now up 5,000 gold, and individually, 2,500 of that gold is on Sneaky, and that is just a ridiculous gold lead at this stage in the game. I mean, that is a full Hurricane almost, just as an advantage when your opponent is sitting on one item.
The K's not going to land any of it. Ooh, the sidestep for Sneaky gets away from that stretching strike there. I'm curious if Sneaky is going to go for Wit's End versus Blade of the Ruin King. Wit's End did get nerfed for ranged champions, generally speaking, in the patch, as it stacks up the MR shred a bit slower. But he's going to go Wit's End anyway, now into the long swords of that Blade of the Ruin King, so a single target build for him.
And I think it makes sense against this composition
specifically,
because there is so much magic damage coming out. Again, it's only Stixxay that is dealing physical damage, and when Stixxay is very likely going to be pushed back by your Maokai and by your Kha'Zix and by the Leona, it's unlikely that he will be hitting Sneaky in these fights. So when you look at the champions that will be able to, it's going to be extremely efficient.
Definitely agree as the items continue to stack up. Banner of Command now done for Cloud9's top laner as well. Aegis for both supports. We'll see which one it goes toward, but the extra cloth armor in Smoothie's inventory says maybe that's banner number 2 instead of Locket. Maybe an overcommit, but we'll see what comes through into this one. 20 minutes in means Baron is on the map, and Cloud9 taking over that western jungle to try to make sure there's no vision, and they can take that in dark if they need to, but there is one ward in the river they did not spot, and that means it won't be a sneak.
Yeah, the gold lead in the mid lane pretty large here too. Quietly, Jensen has been kind of farming away. He has been involved in 3 of 4 kills, but on 2 items plus his Lucidity boots. Now this is really Ryze starting to turn on pretty heavily. Because at this point, he's at 40% CDR, and that is why the Archangel's change is so big for Ryze.
You see Meteor went away. Nice flash gets him out though, and now they're re-engaged on the front side. They actually find some CC. The ultis are burned, and they got rid of it at half HP. The Cats come by once again, and he's split in a Bloblitz, and now they're re-engaged towards this Zaya, who managed to get the kill off on a Sven. The Blade Caller's so big, but of course both junglers are now down as there's no one to save Rain over. So a 4v4 on the map, no junglers, no smite. Probably not a chance at Baron. It's going to be a disengage now on both sides.
Yeah, trade of kills, not too bad for either side, but generally you favor the team that is behind when you can have those even trades. We'll see if CLG can challenge around this Infernal. As it is C9 that is first to the scene, and Siki is much stronger. They're on to 6A.
Flash engage, no escape. Tools with 6A left, no summoner, no ultimate. The flash for the chase down. One more shot will do it. Remember the knockups are there for Cho'Gath. Can Darshan reach the target? Yes, they can. The shutdown comes through. This could be just what CLG needed. How many ways can Smoothie get out? And it's going to be 0. That kill comes in. And now Jensen's in a 2 versus 4 to 3. Maybe not the fight he wants. He flashes. Get away from what could have been more crowd control. Out he goes. A nice fight now. Kind of